does not define me. Its purpose was to refine me. God, he took my broken pieces to transform and renew me. Beautifully reconstructed. Beautifully reconstructed. I'm beautifully reconstructed. Beautifully reconstructed. I am. Let's talk. Let's heal. Let's live.
Great evening, great evening, great evening. Welcome to Beautifully Reconstructed. Let's talk, let's heal, let's live. I am your host, Michelle Patrice Cole, and we stand on the foundation of the word that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And on tonight, I am excited about the guests. If you heard my live earlier, maybe about give or take an hour ago, I was talking about the fact that, to the best of our understanding, our paths have not crossed before. But when we had our conversation and introduced ourselves for the first time, I literally could have ran through the parking lot. He has a phenomenal testimony of God's grace. And on tonight, we have Al Harris. Al, I'm so excited to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Man, listen, I'm happy to be here tonight, this evening. You know, I've been waiting for this moment because I really do believe that there's something on the inside of us that's meant to go forth and break some things that other people are dealing with. I really do believe that there's purpose in our pain. Everything that we say is coming up, everything that we've experienced, I believe it's used, not for us. I mean, we do, of course, we do get stronger through it, but I really do believe it's meant for someone else.
I agree. That's exactly why we do what we do, because, you know, even during our conversation, I shared with the audience time and time again, I would rather keep my business, but it's not the Lord's will. He's given me a mandate, and according to our discussion, he's also giving you that same mandate to go forth and bless individuals with your testimony so that they can know that God heals, sets free, and he delivers. And so on tonight, I just want you to give our audiences just a little brief description of who Al Harris is.
Al Harris, I was once broken. Now I'm a man of God, a minister, a husband, a father, a man that's walking in his purpose, literally. Many times the enemy tried to assassinate who I am. He tried to assassinate who I was to become, but God had something greater for me. So right now I stand before you as a changed man, changed for the better, who really knows his purpose and who he is.
Amen. Now, you said that you were a man that was once broken.
Definitely.
Tell us a little bit about your life growing up.
Well, I grew up in a rough area, man, a rough town, Fieldcrest, Nickeltown. My mother, she gave me up at 5 years old, and from that point, my grandmother raised me. I barely saw my dad. I can't remember Dad really just being consistently there with me. So I didn't have that male role model. I didn't have that structure. I didn't have stability. I had the nurturement, and that's as much as she could give because, you know, she was elderly herself. So you know, I was broken. There was a lot of things that I lacked, and I sought the streets for that fulfillment. I sought the streets, and I experienced that fake love, that love without. I thought that it was sincere, and I thought it came from a good place, but I realized that it was beneficial love that's only expressed when it benefits the people who give it. You know, so I had to learn how to distinguish from real love and beneficial love, and I experienced a lot of that beneficial love, and put me in a place of not really trusting nobody. You know, not really thinking nobody understood, not really thinking that I had hope out of the situation I was in, drugs, violence, alcohol, women, prostituting and stuff like that. You know, we would see that all the time at a young age. You know, we would see women sell their bodies to get high, you know, for crack, for whatever it may be, you know, and I grew up there. I grew up there around all that. And but it was needful for me to experience that, so I could see to what extent the enemy tries to take us to a point of self-destruction. You know, because when the Philistine army realized that they couldn't defeat Samson, their only option was to find his weakness with hopes that he would self-destruct and defeat himself. You know, because it gets to a point the enemy knows he's too strong, even if he don't realize that he's too strong because he's young at where he is right now. But if he ever tapped into the strength that he has, I wouldn't be able to stop him. I wouldn't be able to stop him, and I know that. So the closer I got with Christ Jesus, the more I would see these things occur, these things that I hadn't experienced in years, these things that were traumatizing to me, these things that had latched themselves to me, and I thought I got away. But sometimes it shows back up, you know, whether it's a form of a person, a form of a place, a familiar place, or a familiar crowd, or just a setting or a mood that you're in, to where you want to experience those things that once added to your destruction, you know, and the enemy knows. So therefore he'll try to find that and poke at me with that, you know, with hopes that I would destroy myself. You know, and I realized that's not God's plan for me. I had to get in that word to know that, though. You know what I'm saying? I like I said, I didn't have structure and stability. Anybody that told me, listen, you got purpose. You got something on the inside of you that's dying to live. And if you could only tap into it, you will do great things. I didn't have nobody telling me that. I didn't have that hope. So you know, after I did the little bid, they gave me 15 years. I did 5.5. 5.5 years and made parole my first chance. My first chance I went up for parole. If anybody knows the statistics of that, it's very slim, very slim. Most boys just go for the ride to get out their cells. You know what I'm saying? But they know they ain't finna make it. So when I went up there first time and I made parole, I prayed. First I prayed. I said, God, if I'm not gonna get out this prison and do the will that you want me to do, if I'm gonna go back to that same old lifestyle, I said, Lord, you can say that because I don't want it. Keep me where I'm at. Because at that time I had already learned how to bid. I knew how to bid. I knew how to walk back there, talk back there. I knew how to move. I knew who to mess with and who not to mess with. You know, I really knew how to lay down. So I told God, if I'm gonna get out there and mess up and bring shame to your name, because I'm gonna go out there confessing, you believe that. But if I fall to a point of destruction, and you know all things, if you can see that, then don't let me go. And when they told me that I was free to go and I made parole, God said, listen, you're going to make it. You're going to get out there and you're going to do my will. And you're going to get strong. Even if you slip, even if you get weak and you get subject to issues that may show up, guess what? That's only for your development. Pain is never the destination. It's only the process. So therefore, you learn through that.
I love that. Pain is part of the process. It's the process. And a lot of times we don't like the process. So we try to bypass it. And then we find ourselves back in the same place. Wow. And one of the things, you know, you said that you stayed with your grandmother now, and you said that you had the nourishment. Was your grandmother a woman of faith? Because it seems as if someone spoke some word into your life for you to even call on the name of Jesus when you knew you were in trouble.
Right.
Where did you get that foundation from?
Well, I was introduced to it very lightly with my grandmother because she's from New York. You know what I mean? She's from up north, and she moved down to Greenville, South Carolina. She hadn't been here long by the time I came. So she still had that ruggedness in her. And even though she was a woman of faith, I know she was because I saw her. I would peep in the room where the lights are dim and she's talking, and I wonder who in the world is she talking to? You know what I'm saying? I would see the Bibles placed up strategically everywhere, turned to certain scripture, and I would see, you know, the cross that she wore around her neck, and I know it was symbolic. It wasn't just a piece of jewelry because she was too real for that. You know what I mean? That cross was symbolic, you know, of her relationship with Christ. And I knew that. She did. You know what I'm saying? Her walk was the most profound. I believe that held the most weight than anything. And that's anybody. When I see you by your spirit. I don't see you by your flesh. You know what I mean? Because if I look at you by your flesh, one day I'll end up dishonoring you.
Right. And, we talk about that all the time, that, we can profess Christ and, we can say we're a Christian, but the most important thing is that people see your light shining. Because you can say it all day, but if you're not living the life, then people can't follow a Christ that you're not showing. You're not exhibiting Christ. How do we're in the world, but we're not to be of the world. So if people have to see a difference, and it seems as if you certainly saw that difference in your grandma. I love that, because a lot of times we talk about, we hear testimonies of, our grandmother took us to church and, sat us down, but your grandmother lived it in front of you.
Lived it, walked it, and now I understand it. And now I do understand it, even though back then I didn't have a relationship with her myself to discern that what she was doing was very effective. But as I get older and I think about it, my grandmother showed me. She didn't so much, speak it, but she showed me her walk, But the pillar of I believe, of my faith and of my transition from or even increasing belief in Christ Jesus was the penitentiary. It was the penitentiary. And eat. You know what I'm saying? Unless I went around with the wrong crowd. And I didn't had enough. I had enough, I was 22 years old when I didn't get out. I was going on 29.
What landed you in the penitentiary?
On robberies. I mean, initially, man, it just started from violence. Violence coming up in that, woman, because the word says, where do wars come from in the book of James? Where do wars come from? Could it not be that people want but not obtain? You know what I'm saying? To the point to where I saw things and I wanted those things, but I couldn't have them. So what did I do? I war for it. You know what I'm saying? I war for it. Whatever I had to do to get it, I got it. I went out there and I did it. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was to rob multiple stores in one night, I did it. Some of the most craziest stuff, man, if I was to tell you, you'd be like, what in the world? But yeah, I lived that life. But it wasn't me, per se, who was controlling it. I wasn't steering it. I wasn't. I didn't have the wheel. I was controlled. I was controlled by a habit, crack cocaine, and it was bigger than me. You know what I mean? I would tell myself, the little piece, the little percentage of humanity that I had would tell myself, you ain't getting hot today. You ain't going to get hot today. Not today. Just chill. If I had been gone 2-3 days straight, no sleep. I mean, no sleep. Not at all. Sometimes for 2 or 3 days, to the point where I'm nodding off. You know what I'm saying? I could be anywhere nodding off. The smallest thing, man. I'm homeless. I'm walking the street from hood to hood, trying to make a little joke here and there just to get high. Just to get high. I would put getting high over eating. Right. I wouldn't eat. I was like 92 pounds, soaking wet, 22 years old. A little bitty something out there in the streets. Oh, women will look at me and say, baby, like you're not supposed to be here. Where your parents at? Where your people at? You know what I mean? They know you out here like this. They don't worry about me.
Right.
Don't worry about me. But once again, what does it mean?
I love the fact that you say, the addiction was bigger than you.
Definitely.
And that's why I took Christ, because greater
he did it. Oh my goodness.
In you, that's right, that he did it in the world. So once you experience Christ, then the name of Christ, everything is subject to the name of Christ. But we actually have to be in position with him so that it becomes subject in us. Because the Christ makes it subject. I love it. Now,
it activates it.
Activates it. It does. And like you said earlier, the enemy will try to, and I believe that's why the enemy oftentimes, more often than not, you will see the enemy attack us in our youth. Because he feels that, okay, if I can kill them in their youth, if I can take away their identity so that they don't know who they are, then I can kill them where they are, and they'll continue on that path. Because once we buy into the identity that he's given us, then sometimes it's hard to actually break away from that identity. We become that person who the enemy set us up to be.
My God, and some get lost in it.
Some get lost in it.
Some get lost. They never come back or come to the realization that, hey, this ain't me.
Right.
This is not me. This is not what I was created for.
You're not created for that.
God didn't make me for that. He made me for a bigger purpose. And I made my mind up to walk in that purpose, no matter what it took. Whether it took me reading the word, probably an hour straight, 30 minutes to an hour straight. Searching scriptures, trying to break things down, trying to understand what it take me watching videos or changing my surroundings or changing what I listen to, changing what I say, watching my temper, watching how I treat others, watching how I love others, help people when they're in need. You know what I'm saying? If it takes that for me to grow closer to Christ Jesus, then guess what? That's what I'm going to do because I know he honors me.
Right. And you said something so crucial, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, because oftentimes, I hate to say it, but in the kingdom, sometimes we can get so lazy and lackadaisically about our relationship with Christ. And so we don't know that, we take it for granted.
Right.
Just like any other relationship.
Right.
If you're married, if you take your wife for granted, then you there's a disconnect.
Right.
And the enemy has a way of actually, building a wedge between your relationship. And that's the same thing with Christ. Before you know it, you're not in your word, you're not in your presence, then you start to compromise things. You don't see things the way Christ sees, but you start going back to your old ways and those thoughts because you're not building yourself in Christ. If we walk by the Spirit, then we won't fulfill the lust of the flesh. But if you're fulfilling your flesh, and that, a lot of times we get so comfortable in the fact that, okay, well, I'll just watch TV or I'll do this. But, you have to spend time and invest time with Christ. If you don't,
I'm telling you.
I've been there,
Right.
I shared with you, my personal testimony because I wasn't in the Word. I wasn't to the point where I was strong enough to defeat what was, coming against me.
Right.
And that's what the enemy, he banks on that.
Right.
She says she's a Christian, but she's not in her word. She doesn't realize the authority that she has in her through Jesus Christ. And so when we don't walk in our full authority, then with the authority that we have to actually tread upon serpents and scorpions, we miss it. And the enemy has his way. The enemy only has authority that we give him.
Definitely.
And we relinquish our authority to him when we are not in our rightful position, when we don't know who we are.
And you know what? This is how just God is. God would allow you to live on whatever level you're satisfied with. You know what I mean? He's not going to twist your arm. He's not going to beg and plead, but he will show you. He'll show you, and you can take it or leave it. He can show you the promises that I declare over your life. And since I'm a king cannot renounce his decree. Once a decree is made, I can't take that back. See, we're so used to how a president works. We never been under kingship, real kingship. Once the king stamped and approved that thing, ain't no turning back. You can't turn it back. And when God gave man dominion over the earth, guess what? If God needs anything done on this earth, guess what's going to have to come through? Man, mankind, woman, and man. Why? Because God made that decree a long time ago, and he's not going to go back on it. So if he seeks to do anything in this earth, he's going to have to do it through us. And that's why it's so important for us to surrender. That's why it's so important for us to surrender. Your will be done, Lord, not mine. Not mine.
And mean it from your heart. Sometimes we get so cliches with the word.
Right.
We say it, but we don't believe it.
Right. So,
because when you surrender, that means that when I say your will, not mine, that means even if I don't understand it, even if I don't agree with it, I'm going to do it.
Even if it hurts.
Even if it hurts.
Even if it hurts. Even if it brings forth pain. Because what we do is we say, God, okay, come and clean my house. Take the fourth bedroom, the living room, take the spare bedroom, take that den, but don't touch the kitchen. Leave the kitchen for me. And God was like, no, if you want me to come clean your house, I got to clean every single area of your house. And that's every area. You don't hold no area back and say, nah, those are the things that we don't want to just let go to right. We want to hold on to it a little bit, just a little bit. You know what I mean? Just wean me off, God. I don't think I can just quit cold turkey like that. Just wean me off. And I done been there. But the satisfaction and the glory that God gives. When I say no to that thing, and then let him take control. And I find myself not even wanting it, that tasting in my mouth. I don't have a desire to go those places or do those things. And I just let him occupy that spare time that I would be using over here. Great things come out.
Great things come out.
Great things.
For his glory.
For his glory. All we need is our availability. We just got to be ready and open, prepared, and be in the right position for God to use us. You know what I mean? That's why, get me out of my way. Get me out of my way, because as long as I'm not in the flesh, I'm going to want things that may not be good for me.
That's right.
That may not be good for me.
And you're right. Get me out of my own way.
Get me out of my own way.
We were talking about in Sunday school, I think it was last Sunday, but, I've said it over and over, time and time again that, sometimes we give the enemy so much credit. And he just looks like, I didn't even tell you to do that. You just
Come on now. You wanted to do it. Come on, man.
The devil made you do it. No, you didn't. You yielded yourself to the enemy. And, even when we talk about, one of the things that, when I first initially talked to you, I told you that the words that I heard in your video captivated my attention because you were talking about just breaking generational curses.
Right.
And, the enemy's tactics are not new. He may bring them in a different form, but he said, I got mama like that, I got grandma like that, I got a great grandma like that, I'm going to get you like that. And oftentimes you see that's why you feel, okay, well, in my case, my mom she had me out of wedlock.
Right.
My grandmother did the same thing. And, it came to a point even when, they both, that my foreparents had relationships outside of their marriage. What did I do?
Right.
The enemy said, I don't have to try anything new. I know that your mother and your grandmother, and ended up in the same way, but I made the decision that the buck stops here. We were turn that thing around.
Right, because it's not going to trickle down to my daughter.
Right.
It's not going to trickle down to my son. That's what it's not going to do. I'm going to stop that generational curse right here, right now. Break that cycle. Break that cycle. The word says to guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it springs the issues of life. So therefore, what the word is telling me that what I allow in my heart will bring forth issues in my life, whether bad or good. You know what I'm saying? If I allow good things, joyous things, things of the Lord in my heart, then guess what? I'm going to bear that fruit. But if I let that evil stuff in my heart, that backbite, jealousy, that hatred, that anger, if I let that in my heart, man, not forgiving to others, trying to scheme and get this and scheme and get that, or sneak and do this and sneak and do that, I let that in my heart, guess what kind of fruit I'm going to produce? I'm going to produce that fruit. It's not God, it's not the devil. It's your fault. What did you let in your heart? What did you let in your heart? The devil made me do it. I bind Satan in the name of, you can bind them all you want. But guess what? If you keep allowing things in your heart that are not of God, then you're going to bear that fruit.
And you know what my apostle loves to say? How you going to hang out with the devil and then try to bind him? You were just hanging out with him last night. You were hanging out with him. Y'all went to the club last night. Now you want to bind him today?
Right. Now it's different. It's a barrier between people who want to, who really got a desire to leave that old life alone, and you want to draw closer to God. But sometimes you slip up. Sometimes you might find yourself doing something or saying something or somewhere where you ain't supposed to be. But then when you get alone and God begins to prick your heart, and the conviction falls heavy on you, you fall to your knees and you pray, God, just make me stronger next time. Make me stronger and wiser next time. Help me use discernment next time. That's different from a person who's willingly going out there doing the things they know they ain't supposed to do. You can't, man, listen, you can't have God inside you, have a consistent relationship and desire to please and love God and be comfortable around men. You just can't. It's going to get to you. It's going to crawl all on your back. You ain't going to be comfortable. You ain't going to find yourself enjoying what you're doing. Why? Because too much God in you.
Right. Now, that's one thing that I get a little perplexed about. How can you say that you're a Christian and be comfortable? You can't. I know if I offend my sister or my brother, that thing jumps up inside of me and I got to go apologize. So I don't, even if they weren't offended, even if I felt I offended somebody, so I don't understand how the Christ in you just lets you willfully sin without conviction.
Honestly, yeah. And for people like that, man, I just urge them to seek for a deeper relationship with Christ Jesus. Because you're never going to get to the point where you've arrived. Even Paul says, I don't consider myself to have apprehended. Never. But one thing that I do is I continue to press toward the higher calling, the mark. That's what Paul said. And this was someone who had a personal encounter with God, on the road to Damascus. He spoke with God. God spoke, why are you persecuting me? Who was that? Is that you? Yeah, that's me. That's you, God? Yeah, that's me. This was a man with a personal encounter with God, but at the same time, he said, I don't consider myself to have apprehended or got there. I ain't arrived yet. But one thing I'm doing is I'm going to keep pressing. You know, and that's far more different than somebody who's just willing to dance with the devil.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I say that all the time. I'm not, by no means am I perfect. Jesus Christ was the only man who walked the earth and was perfect. But at the same time, we have to get to the point where we're not living a lifestyle of sin.
Definitely. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what helped me is that I don't seek for perfection. I don't seek for perfection. Because the thing about being perfect is that you will never be. But you can be free.
Can be free.
You can be free. You don't have to be perfect, but you can be free. Because when God asks you to do something, He ain't got time for you to consult whatever's holding you down to do the work of God. You have to be free. You have to be free. Not perfect, but you have to be free. You can't have nothing holding you down when God has work for you to do.
That's right. Not even your past.
Not even your past. Not even your family members. Not even your wants and desires. Not even those who are close to you. You know what I'm saying? Those who say, well, I got your back. I'm going to ride with you. The same dudes told me they're going to ride with me. They had to get away and call and they left. As soon as I ran out the store, they gone. I got the pistol and the money on me. Where I'm going? I'm 22 years old, so I hit the sidewalk. Boom. I'm running. I see some car lights behind me, but you can tell if it's an SUV, it's a car, but I see SUV lights. So I thought, okay, I'm good. I ain't the police. I heard them brakes screech. Doors open. I look back. Sheriff there. They got guns pointed at me. Put your hands up. There was a robbery up the street. Do you know anything about it? I got the money and the gun on me. I ain't gonna throw my, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, because I plan on getting away now. I'm gone.
Right.
You know, but I had it on me. You know, knowing they gonna search me. I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. They gonna search me. So I told them it was me. I did it. You know what I mean? Those same ones that I was close with, and I did this. We did that many other nights before, and we were successful at it. But this particular night, they left me. And on that night, I was apprehended by Greenville County Sheriff's Department. Later after that, they gave me 15 years. But while I was locked up in prison, I had to watch on the news my mother being shot 14 times. And they threw on the side of the road, left her for dead, Sybil Teasley. She still got bullets in her now. My mother survived 14 shots on the highway, Lawrence County. He threw on the side of the road, left her. My mama said she crawled in the open field to the street. She seen cars passing. The third car stopped for her.
Wow. So I know when you shared what they tried to accelerate her death actually saved her. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. They poured bleach in the wound. Thinking that may kill in evidence, you'll hurt quicker, but what it did is it stopped the gunpowder from entering her bloodstream and saved her life.
That's important for me to have you say because that's only God.
You know, and see that's just what the doctors say. And that's just what the doctors say. I know what happened.
Oh, we know what happened.
I know what happened. That don't justify a woman surviving 14 bullets. No, you gotta go with something else. God did that. My mother can walk in the door right now, healthy, smiling, no cane, no wheelchair. All you see is the scars when bullets penetrated the skin. All you see is the bullet wounds. You know, that's my story. God said, that's your story.
Wow.
Along with me coming up in drug and violence and doing time and, you know, being shot myself.
Tell us how you were actually who introduced you to drugs?
Well, it started out with weed. You know, it's real subtle.
Mm-hmm.
It starts subtle. You know, everybody smoke weed. Yeah, everybody smoke weed. But my birthday, I think it was my 22nd or my 21st birthday. I had a girl. Her name, you know, I had a girl. And she say, and this is my testimony.
Right.
You know what I mean? She say, it's your birthday, you know, and she threw a ball with a plastic bag with a white substance in it. And I found that it was cocaine. I'm asking her what's this. I hadn't been introduced to cocaine at that time. All I had just graduated high school a year and a half ago or something. So, you know, it's like all I had did was smoke weed by that time. And she said it was some powder. You know, yeah, it makes you feel good. All right, bet. I mean, that's my girl. So I did that, and what she didn't know is that she woke a beast.
Mm-hmm.
She woke a beast. Because guess what? That was strategically planned. Because it was already embedded in my grandparents. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
They already had their spins, their issues with cocaine, crack, drugs, period. And when that happened, the enemy, I could hear him. Because he knew all it took was for me to just do a little bit. That's it. And she woke something up. See, some people can maintain. You can hide yours. You can hide yours real good. But some people, they get out of control. And I was that person. I got out of control. I was robbing any and everybody I knew. People that I talk to on Monday, I rob them on Thursday. You know what I mean? And that was just my life. Because I had to get high. I wanted more. I mean, to the point my nose was bleeding. And I wanted more. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted more. It had me. It had me bad. And it was bigger than me. You know what I mean?
And, even coincidentally, when you said that, it just solidified what we said earlier about the fact that the enemy doesn't come with anything new.
Nothing new. It may be new to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
It may be new to me. And for that, he has an advantage.
Right.
He has an advantage because it's new to me. And it somewhat feels good. I somewhat enjoy it. But you know what? People that don't know their purpose, they'll deal with 80% death. If it's feed in an area that hasn't been fed all their life, they'll deal with 80% death to experience 20% life. Not knowing that what they're doing is killing. It's killing them slowly. Just waiting for that right time. And you're being a conduit. You're being an accessory. You're you know what I mean? You're unctioning your own downfall. The whole time. I mean, perfect plan, right? Perfect plan. He already once again he doesn't know he's been introduced to this before because it's generational, it's in his bloodline. So therefore when he gets it, all he needs to do is be around it, to be in the same vicinity, to be around people that's doing it, and he'll get it. I got him. That's why that's why I watch the company I keep. That's why I watch the people I hang around. Paul said, "Be not deceived, for bad company corrupts good character." Why do you say be not deceived? Because it's possible for us to be in the presence of bad company and not realize the influence that they have on our destiny. Bad company corrupts good character. Corruption doesn't happen immediately. It takes time.
It doesn't. Like you used the word subtle earlier. It's very subtle. It only, you start to compromise just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
They're okay, and what they're doing, and maybe I can change them, but sometimes we have to make sure we're at a position in our life where we're strong enough, because either someone is going to pull you down or you're going to pull them up. And you have to realize where you are in your relationship with Christ. Which are you going to do? And even in that, even a strong Christian, you still can't tempt the Lord. You can't put yourself in a situation where, you're tempted to do wrong.
Right.
Because I'm strong. Christ is I'm single. I wouldn't go to a gentleman's house after a certain hour.
Right.
First of all, I don't really think I'm going to go to your house. I mean, you can go out to take me out to eat. I like to eat all these.
Get a feel for each other. Right. Before that step. It's a way to do things. It's a way to do everything. God he doesn't want us not to enjoy life. I mean, he made these things for us to enjoy the right way.
Right.
The right way.
The right way.
There's nothing that's out in the bedroom between a husband and his wife. Me and my wife were just talking about this the other night. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things God said. Yeah, you can basically enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself, but do it in the right manner.
Do it in the right manner.
Do it in the right. And some people don't. You're not gonna get everything right. But still, when Jesus hung right there on the cross, the word says that he had 2 thieves beside him. And one said, if you are the Christ, then bring us down from this cross. He tempted him, he told him. But the other one beside him, he said, listen, I know you are who you say you are. All I'm asking is that you remember me when you come into your kingdom. And Jesus said one thing. He said, from this day forward, you will be with me in paradise. But see, this is the thing. Jesus didn't ask him, what did he do to get there? Jesus didn't ask him if he was guilty or not. Jesus didn't ask him what time it was, what day it was. Why? Because it didn't matter. That didn't matter. Okay, you did what you did. You made a mistake. But that doesn't mean that you're disqualified from being in my presence. And that's what this fit for a king means. That's what this fit for a king means. It don't matter where you've been and where you come from in life, who counted you out, who put bad name on you, who drug you in the mud. It don't matter. You still fit for God's love. You still fit for a king. You still fit for a king. I don't care what your past look like. I don't care what you're facing now. You fit for a king. If you love him and you know you love him with everything in you, and you do everything in your power to please God. Every day you wake up and you get out that bed, you say, Lord, I just want to please you. Even if I stumble along the way, Lord, teach me through my offense. Teach me through my issues. Teach me through my weaknesses. And allow me to get stronger so I can please you more. That's the attitude we need to have. That's the attitude that we need to have, believers of Christ Jesus, those who walk with God. And that's how people should view people that walk with God, people who are Christians. Instead of that, oh, you're supposed to be a Christian. Why you supposed, I hate that. Right. I mean, that if I can't stand nothing else, I hate that. You know what I mean? Because that right there tells me that you're ignorant of the word of God. Because everybody that Jesus walked with had issues. Everybody. And he did that for a reason, because the greater your issue, the more glory I give. The more glory I give. The more glory I give.
You know what? Then I told you all that I was about to run in that parking lot, didn't I? Oh my God. You know, I love when, you know, unfortunately in the body of Christ, you know, we hear the testimony of a lot of women, but not a lot of men who are passionate for Christ. I know they're out there, and you know, and I know there are many, but you know, unfortunately, you hear more from the women. Right. And to hear a young man passionate for Christ and who's walking, and not just preaching, but walking out what he's preaching, is like amazing to me. And I'm just so excited about that. You know, we were supposed to actually have a commercial break. You know, not so bad. My bad. If you're just joining us on tonight, we have Al Harris with us. And when I tell you, if you have missed any of the show, I encourage you to go back and listen to it in its entirety. We're going to take a quick and come back. We are going to resume this interview. A phenomenal young man on fire for Christ, loves the Lord, and I'm just excited about what he's sharing tonight. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with Beautifully Reconstructed. Let's talk, let's heal, let's live.
Past experiences can be emotionally destructive. While talking about them can be difficult, not doing so can leave you feeling isolated, unpleasant, and broken. But there's a place where the rebuilding process can begin, a place where you can be beautifully reconstructed. Broadcasting in over 167 countries, Beautifully Reconstructed is a ministry and radio show devoted to helping others discover how God can turn brokenness into something beautiful. Want information on how you can share your story, advertise, or host your own show? Call 888-818-8113 or visit online at www.beautifullyreconstructed.com. Join host Michelle Cole every Monday at 7 p.m. to hear a word and testimony to renovate your spiritual mind. Always remember, transparency heals.
Welcome back to Beautifully Reconstructed. Let's talk, let's heal, let's live. You heard the commercial, so I'm not going to give you too much information, but I want to reiterate a big, great thank you to all of those of you who have donated to Beautifully Reconstructed Ministries Outreach. If you have visited the Facebook page, you know, on Saturday, we partnered with Key Rain Ministries, and we were able to go out and serve the homeless, those without walls. We were able to be a blessing to them. More than prayer, but we were able to give them care packages, and because we wholeheartedly believe that we are to show the love of Christ. Sometimes if someone has a need, they don't want to hear about Christ because they want you to show Christ. And so that's what your donations and your giving enabled us to do on Saturday. And we ask that you continue to be a blessing. If God lays it on your heart, sow a seed into the ministry so that we can continue to be a blessing to those who are without walls. And without further ado, I said I was going to talk so much. We're going to take a quick break. So we are going to resume our interview with Al Harris. If you're just joining us on tonight, he is a minister. He is an artist. And when I tell you he is on fire for God, he certainly is. My spirit is leaping. I know that he's a young man that loves God, and it's for real. It's authentic. And so we're going to jump right back. And I know that we have about 20 more minutes, or less than 20 minutes. So I want to, I know you shared with me that you had your first sermon while you were in prison.
Right.
I want to talk a little bit about that because I want to give you an opportunity to share your ministry before we end tonight. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about, because you told us earlier about the fact that you began to get in your word.
Right.
And then God called you to preach while you were there. So tell us a little bit about that experience.
Well, you know what? It was kind of like one of those moments where I didn't have a choice. I had to preach God.